There comes a moment in every seeker's journey when they begin to realize that no matter how hard they push, no matter how many techniques they stack upon one another, something still feels out of reach. You visualize, you affirm, you work tirelessly toward becoming the person you believe you must be, yet the breakthrough does not arrive. Instead of freedom, you feel tension. Instead of expansion, you feel trapped in an endless cycle of trying harder and harder. And here, in this silent frustration, lies the hidden doorway to transformation. The truth is not in doing more, but in learning to release. Many people are caught in the illusion that manifestation and spiritual growth are earned through sheer force. We live in a world where productivity is praised and hustle is glorified. From childhood, we are told that to succeed, we must strive, sweat, and compete. That conditioning seeps into the way we approach even our inner lives. We try to force our minds to be still, to control our feelings, to demand results from the universe. But the more we push, the more resistance builds, and the very reality we desire remains distant. It is like trying to hold water in a clenched fist. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips away. In this journey, the concept of trying is deceptive. On the surface it feels like progress. You tell yourself, at least I'm doing something. But underneath, that energy carries a vibration of lack. When you are constantly trying, you are affirming that you do not yet have what you want. And the quantum field, the invisible fabric that responds to your state of being, mirrors that back to you. Trying becomes a signal that says, I am incomplete, I am still chasing, I am not yet there. This is why so many people feel like they are working harder on their manifestations than ever before, but with fewer and fewer results. Now imagine a different state of being. A state where you are not striving, not forcing, not clinging to outcomes with desperate hands. Instead, you breathe deeply, you open, and you trust. You recognize that the intelligence that animates the cosmos is far greater than your own mind's plans. You step back and allow, like a sailor adjusting their sail to the natural wind, rather than trying to command the ocean itself. In that moment of surrender, something extraordinary happens. You discover that reality has been waiting for you to release the tension. The moment you stop trying, everything clicks into place. This is not an easy lesson, because it goes against everything we have been taught. We fear that if we stop trying, we will fall behind. We fear that if we stop controlling, everything will collapse. Yet, what if the opposite is true? What if the act of letting go is the very key that unlocks the door? Think of the times in your life when things unfolded effortlessly. The friend you met by chance, who became your partner. The opportunity that appeared the moment you stopped worrying about money. The creative inspiration that flowed once you stopped forcing yourself to be creative. These moments feel almost magical, but they are not accidents. They are signals of a deeper truth. Alignment creates ease, and surrender creates flow. As we move through this journey together, I invite you to notice where in your life you are still caught in the trap of trying. Where are you gripping too tightly, believing that your force alone will bend reality into shape? And what would it feel like to exhale, to soften, and to trust that life is working with you, not against you? In the sections ahead, we will explore why trying creates resistance, why surrender is the energetic key to manifestation, and how you can begin to live in the effortless state where synchronicities multiply and everything begins to align. This introduction is not about convincing you with logic alone. It is about stirring something deeper inside of you, something that already knows the truth of these words. There is a part of you that remembers what it feels like to be in flow, to feel supported by something greater than yourself. You have tasted it in fleeting moments, but now it is time to embody it fully. The message is simple, yet profoundly challenging. You do not need to force your way into alignment. You simply need to allow it. So as you listen, take a breath, feel the weight of your efforts resting on your shoulders, and imagine setting them down for a moment. Imagine what it would feel like to trust that the universe has already heard your desire, that the seeds have already been planted, and that your role is not to strain but to nurture. The breakthrough is not in one more affirmation, one more late-night session of visualizing, or one more checklist of techniques. The breakthrough is in surrender, in trust, in release. And as we unfold this journey together, you may just discover that the very moment you stop trying, everything finally clicks. As we arrive at the close of this journey, it becomes clear that the central lesson is both simple and profound. The moment you stop trying, everything clicks. This is not a call to passivity, nor is it an invitation to abandon your dreams. It is an encouragement to shift your energy, to release the tension of struggle, and to step into alignment with the intelligence of the universe. Manifestation is not about force, it is about frequency, and frequency is shaped by your state of being. By your trust, your openness, and your willingness to let go. Reflect on your own journey. Where have you been pushing too hard, striving for outcomes, or trying to control the uncontrollable? In these moments, you were sending a signal of lack into the universe, unknowingly creating resistance. But now, equipped with awareness, you can choose differently. You can pause, breathe, and release. You can step into the subtle, powerful state of surrender, where the quantum field begins to respond in kind. This is the space where magic happens, not through effort, but through alignment. The power of surrender is transformational. It dissolves the old self, the one who struggles, doubts, and fears, and invites the new self to emerge, confident, aligned, and at ease. It is a reminder that life is not a battle to be fought, but a flow to be navigated. When you embody this state, everything begins to move in harmony with your desires. Opportunities arrive effortlessly, relationships deepen naturally, and synchronicities become commonplace. You begin to realize that reality has been listening all along. The only missing piece was your willingness to release control. As you integrate this understanding into your daily life, remember that surrender is a practice. There will be moments of doubt, moments when old habits of striving resurface. Each time, gently return to trust. Notice the difference between fear-driven action and inspired, aligned action. Celebrate the small moments of flow, the effortless manifestations, and the subtle shifts in perception. Over time, these moments accumulate, creating a life that feels expansive, joyful, and in complete resonance with your highest vision. Ultimately, the message is one of empowerment. You do not need to force life into a shape you cannot hold. You do not need to exhaust yourself, trying to manifest what is already yours to receive. By stopping the struggle, by softening your grip, and by stepping into surrender, you allow life to click into place. The moment you stop trying, you open the door to infinite possibilities, effortless abundance, and profound alignment. Trust the process, release the need to control, and watch as everything begins to flow naturally, exactly as it is meant to. When we step into the world of manifestation, personal growth, or spiritual awakening, we often carry with us the old mindset of effort and control. We believe that if we just push harder, read more books, or apply more techniques, the universe will finally deliver. This way of thinking feels logical because it is what society has drilled into us. The harder you work, the more results you get. But in the realm of the quantum, in the space where energy shapes reality, this formula does not always hold true. Instead, excessive effort creates friction, and friction creates resistance. Let us imagine a common scenario. A person discovers the law of attraction and becomes excited. They start scripting every night, repeating affirmations 100 times a day, listening to subliminals as they sleep, and visualizing until their head aches. They treat manifestation like a second job, yet months later, their desires remain unfulfilled. Instead of feeling empowered, they feel drained, and even doubtful. The harder they try, the more they chase, the further the dream seems to drift away. This is the trap of trying, the illusion that by piling on more effort, we can force the universe into submission. On the surface, trying feels active and positive. It makes you believe you are in control, that you are doing something about your desires. But beneath the surface, there is another message being sent out into the quantum field. Trying whispers, "I do not yet have what I want. I am not there yet. I must force it into existence." And since reality mirrors your inner state, the field reflects that energy back to you. What you end up attracting is more waiting, more chasing, more almost but not quite moments. Trying is not just a physical act, it is an energetic signal of lack. This is why you might see someone who hardly seems to work at manifestation suddenly receive exactly what they want. They speak lightly about their dreams, almost casually, and then the opportunities appear as if by magic. Meanwhile, another person is burning themselves out with spiritual homework, but their results seem frozen. The difference lies not in worthiness or intelligence, but in vibration. The first person embodies ease, trust, and certainty. The second radiates tension, doubt, and lack. The field is always listening, not to your words alone, but to the frequency beneath them. Think of it like planting a seed. Once you place the seed in the soil, its growth depends on natural intelligence, sunlight, water, time. If you dig it up every day to check whether it has sprouted, or if you constantly press down on the soil to help it grow faster, you disturb the process. The seed cannot flourish under constant interference. In the same way, when you keep checking on your manifestation with worry, doubt, and obsessive effort, you suffocate its natural unfolding. Growth requires trust, space, and patience. Another way to see this is through the metaphor of holding your breath. Imagine you desperately want to control the flow of oxygen. You inhale deeply, and then try to hold on as long as possible, believing that this will keep you safe. But very quickly, it becomes uncomfortable, even painful. You are trying too hard to control something that was never meant to be controlled. The truth is, you were designed to breathe naturally, effortlessly, with no need for force. Manifestation works the same way. When you try too hard, you interrupt the natural rhythm. It is also important to recognize how the trap of trying is rooted in fear. Beneath the surface of endless effort lies the quiet belief: if I stop, I will lose everything. If I let go, nothing will happen. If I don't work hard, I am unworthy. These beliefs are heavy chains. They keep you tied to the old version of yourself, the self who survives through control, who fears surrender, who cannot yet trust in the intelligence of the universe. And as long as you cling to this old self, you block the emergence of the new self, the one who lives in flow, alignment, and ease. You may notice this pattern in relationships as well. When someone tries too hard to impress, to force connection, to hold on to another person, the energy feels suffocating. The other person may even pull away. But when someone relaxes, allows their authentic self to shine, and does not chase, they often attract love effortlessly. The energy of trying pushes things away, while the energy of being draws them in. The same principle applies to money, opportunities, health, and spiritual breakthroughs. The trap of trying also thrives on comparison. You may look at others who seem to manifest easily, and think, I must be doing something wrong, I need to try harder. But this mindset only digs the hole deeper. Trying harder does not make alignment stronger. It actually weakens it. True alignment comes from trust, from embodying the energy of already having, rather than from straining to prove your worthiness. The very belief that you need to prove yourself keeps you locked in the vibration of lack. So what is the way out of this trap? It begins with awareness. The moment you recognize that your endless striving has become a signal of lack, you can pause. You can take a breath and step back from the constant need to do more. You can begin to ask yourself, am I acting from trust or from fear? Am I flowing with the universe or fighting against it? Am I sending out the frequency of having or the frequency of chasing? These questions shine a light on the hidden beliefs that fuel the trap of trying. The truth is, manifestation is not about doing more, it is about being more. It is about embodying the energy of the reality you desire, not struggling to build it brick by brick with force. When you find yourself trying too hard, it is a signal to pause, to soften, to remember that reality responds to your state of being, not the length of your to-do list. In this way, the trap of trying is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It shows you the places where you still cling to control, the places where fear still whispers louder than trust. By noticing it, you can begin to shift. By releasing it, you open the doorway to the deeper power of surrender. And this is where we now turn to the mysterious, yet life-changing realization that letting go is not weakness, but strength, not loss but gain. For the moment you stop trying to force life, you give life the space to finally click into alignment. Once you step into the state of surrender, something remarkable begins to happen. Life feels lighter, clearer, and more expansive. This is the click moment, the subtle yet unmistakable shift when everything starts to align effortlessly. You no longer feel like you are pushing a heavy boulder uphill. Instead, the path seems to unfold before you, as if the universe itself is gently guiding your steps. Synchronicities multiply, opportunities appear in unexpected ways, and the resistance that once defined your life begins to dissolve. Living in this state is not about perfection, it is about flow, trust, and alignment with your highest self. The first sign of the click is a change in perception. When you stop trying, you notice life differently. Small coincidences feel meaningful, challenges appear as lessons rather than obstacles. Relationships feel more authentic, as you no longer try to control others or force connection. The mundane becomes magical, because your attention is no longer trapped in worry, effort, or fear. In this state, every moment is imbued with possibility, and the universe seems to respond to even the slightest shift in your energy. Living in the click also brings a deep sense of inner peace. You are no longer running on the hamster wheel of striving. Your mind quiets, your heart opens, and a subtle, unshakable confidence emerges. You trust that what you need will come at the right time, in the right form. This does not mean you stop taking inspired action. Rather, your actions are guided by alignment, not desperation. You act from clarity, not from fear, and every decision feels naturally supported. Another aspect of living in the click is the feeling of ease and manifestation. Desires that once seemed difficult or distant now appear effortlessly. You may notice money flowing in unexpected ways, opportunities presenting themselves without struggle, or relationships deepening naturally. This is not magic in the sense of fairy tales. It is the reflection of your internal state. When your vibration is aligned with the reality you wish to experience, the quantum field responds. The click is the recognition that reality has been listening all along. You simply had to stop interfering and allow it to organize itself. A practical way to embody this state is through daily rituals of presence and trust. Meditation, journaling, and mindfulness exercises are powerful tools to reinforce the energy of surrender. Each time you pause, breathe, and release control, you signal to the universe that you are ready to live in the click. Visualization can still be used, but it works differently now. You focus on feeling the reality you desire as already present, rather than forcing it into existence. The emphasis shifts from doing to being. Contrast remains a powerful teacher in this stage. You remember the old self, the one who struggled, chased, and doubted. Comparing your past and present states reinforces the magnitude of your transformation. You can clearly see how trying created tension and resistance, while surrender and alignment create flow and magnetism. The clarity of contrast helps you appreciate the simplicity and effectiveness of living in the click. You begin to understand that manifestation is less about force and more about frequency. Living in the click also transforms how you handle setbacks. Challenges no longer feel catastrophic because your trust in the flow is unwavering. You understand that every obstacle contains a hidden opportunity, and every delay is a chance to realign. Instead of reacting with frustration, you respond with curiosity and calm. This shift in energy is critical because manifestation is less about controlling outcomes and more about maintaining alignment, even in the face of uncertainty. Relationships, too, are elevated in this state. When you are aligned, people are naturally drawn to your energy. You attract connections that reflect your new vibration, supportive, loving, and harmonious. Conflicts lose their intensity because your responses are grounded in clarity and calm, rather than fear and control. Your interactions become mirrors of the energy you radiate, showing how the click extends beyond personal desire into every aspect of life. One of the most subtle, yet profound changes is the internal sense of certainty. You no longer feel desperate to force outcomes or prove yourself. You know deep down that the universe is responsive, intelligent, and in perfect timing. This certainty is liberating. It allows you to dream bigger, act with confidence, and embrace life fully. The click is not just external manifestation, it is the alignment of your mind, body, and spirit with the reality you are creating. Living in the click is ultimately a practice of ongoing trust. It requires patience, self-compassion, and awareness of the energy you carry. Each time you notice yourself slipping back into trying, you gently return to surrender. Each time you doubt, you reconnect with the feeling of alignment. Over time, this state becomes second nature, and your life increasingly reflects the effortless flow of energy that manifests your desires naturally. In this way, living in the click is both a destination and a journey. It is the moment you stop forcing, the state where everything begins to fall into place, and the ongoing practice of maintaining alignment and trust. As you embody this energy, you experience the true power of manifestation, not as a series of forced actions, but as a natural, effortless unfolding of your reality in harmony with the universe. The click is where freedom meets creation, where trust becomes your most potent tool, and where the reality you once chased begins to move toward you naturally. It is here, in this state, that you finally understand the simplicity and brilliance of surrender, that the moment you stop trying, everything clicks. Surrender is often misunderstood. In our minds, it sounds like giving up, letting life happen to us, or passively waiting for miracles that may never come. But in reality, surrender is one of the most powerful forces in manifestation and spiritual growth. It is not about abandoning your dreams or becoming complacent. It is about shifting your energy from struggle to trust, from effort to flow. Surrender is the quiet, steady signal that you are ready to align with the intelligence of the universe, rather than fight against it. When you surrender, you release the constant need to control outcomes. You stop micromanaging reality, stop checking for results, and stop forcing situations to fit your timeline. Imagine standing by a river, trying to catch a fish with clenched hands. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips away. But if you open your hands, let the water flow, and allow nature to take its course, something entirely different happens. You create space for life to work with you, not against you. This is the essence of surrender. It creates fertile ground for manifestation. Surrender is not passive, it is an active state of trust. It requires conscious awareness and a willingness to step into the unknown. It asks you to embrace uncertainty with curiosity rather than fear. In this state, you no longer push against reality, instead you move with it, guided by intuition and a deep knowing that life is conspiring in your favor. You begin to notice signs, synchronicities, and subtle shifts that were invisible when you were caught in the constant hustle of trying. The universe responds to the energy you emit, and surrender changes that energy from tension to magnetism. Contrast is a helpful way to understand surrender. On one side is the old self, tense, fearful, controlling, and always chasing. On the other side is the new self, relaxed, trusting, aligned, and receptive. The old self says, "I must do more. I must prove myself. I must force results." The new self whispers, "I am enough. I am supported. I trust the unfolding of life." The difference is not merely philosophical, it is vibrational. Manifestation responds to the frequency you inhabit, and surrender raises your vibration from scarcity to abundance, from struggle to ease. Surrender also reshapes your inner narrative. When you are caught in trying, your mind is constantly narrating a story of lack. "I am not enough. I am behind. I need to work harder." Surrender interrupts that loop. It allows you to say internally, "I am aligned, I am supported, and what I desire is already on its way." This simple shift may feel small, but it is profoundly transformative. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions begin to reflect trust rather than fear, and the quantum field responds accordingly. Many spiritual teachers describe surrender as the bridge between intention and manifestation. You set your intention, your desire, your vision, your dream, but then you release it into the hands of life. Like sending a paper boat down a stream, you trust it will find its path without clinging, forcing, or steering it every inch of the way. In doing so, you allow unseen forces to organize circumstances in ways that your limited mind could never plan. Surrender invites creativity, intelligence, and grace to co-create with you. This is also why surrender often feels uncomfortable at first. Letting go of control triggers the ego, which fears loss and uncertainty. You might feel restless, anxious, or doubting whether things will happen. This is normal. The ego thrives on effort, struggle, and proof. But here is the paradox. The more you resist surrender, the more you tighten the grip that keeps you from what you want. The more you embrace it, the more effortless your manifestations become. The discomfort is the doorway, not the destination. Real-life examples illuminate this principle. Consider a person who has been trying desperately to manifest a fulfilling relationship. Every date, every action is orchestrated, planned, and analyzed. The relationship never feels right, because the energy behind it is trying and controlling. Then they shift into surrender, focusing on self-growth, allowing connections to flow naturally, and trusting timing. Suddenly, a partner appears effortlessly, perfectly aligned, without stress or manipulation. The change is not in external circumstances alone, but in the energetic state of the person. Surrender also transforms how you handle challenges. When obstacles arise, instead of panicking or forcing solutions, you ask, "What is this teaching me? How can I flow with this rather than fight it?" You respond from clarity rather than fear. You learn that every delay, every no, every apparent setback is not punishment, but part of a larger orchestration. In this state, patience becomes your ally, not frustration. You move through life with curiosity rather than resistance, and doors open naturally where walls once stood. Another key aspect of surrender is emotional release. When you try, you often hold tension in your body and mind, clenching, tightening, worrying. Surrender allows this tension to dissolve. You breathe, you soften, and you embody the energy of having already received. This is a subtle but powerful shift. Your entire being vibrates at a frequency of ease, trust, and alignment. The quantum field, which responds to your energetic state, begins to rearrange reality to match this new vibration. Finally, surrender is a practice, not a one-time event. It is a daily choice to stop pushing, to stop forcing, and to step into alignment with the flow of life. It may look like pausing to meditate, journaling to release fears, or simply observing your thoughts without judgment. Each act of letting go, no matter how small, strengthens your trust muscle and expands your capacity to receive. Over time, surrender becomes a natural state, a way of being that allows the click of effortless manifestation to happen more frequently and with greater ease. In essence, The power of surrender is the gateway to transformation. It shifts you from the old paradigm of struggle to the new paradigm of alignment. It teaches that release is not weakness, that trust is not naivety, and that allowing is not passivity. The universe responds to surrender with precision and grace. And as you step into this state, you begin to see, with clarity and joy, that the very moment you stop trying is the very moment everything begins to click.